Welcome to Lesson 3 in our English Grade 9 series from NAMCOR. Today's topic is active and passive voice. So after watching this lesson, you should be able to use and apply knowledge of grammatical structures at phrase and sentence levels, which now includes by being able to identify and use active and passive voices correctly. For example, Sue changed the flat tire. Active. The flat tire was changed by Sue. Passive. So, let's start with our lesson today. Viewers, did you know that the passive voice is used to show interest in the person or object that experiences an action rather than the person or object that performs the action? In other words, the most important thing or person becomes the subject of the sentence. The active voice is the voice we use most of the time. In this voice, the object receives the action of the verb. Moreover, the active voice is a clear way of writing, and it can help a text have a strong impact on the reader. For example, the car rammed up onto the pavement to escape the oncoming truck. The passive voice is often used in scientific writing, where the focus is on the procedure and the results rather than on the person doing experiment. For example, the results were received by the assistants. The passive voice is often also used in official writing where records are being kept. For example, the residents were requested by the municipality to vacate the building within 30 days. Therefore, the passive voice can help a text sound more scientific or more official. You should also take note that it is more natural to use the active voice, but the passive voice is often used for effect. For example, when it is not necessary to mention the subject, the doer. For example, refreshments will be served. When we are not sure who did the action, for example, the diamonds were stolen. When demands are made anonymously, for example, smoking is not permitted in the cinema. When a nameless accusation is made, for example, this shirt has been ruined in the wash. Let's quickly look into the details of how to approach the passive and active voice, as this knowledge is always tested in the examination. A sentence consists of different parts. Look at the following sentence. Lucia protects the environment. Lucia is the subject, protects the verb, and the environment is the object. So, a subject is a person or thing that is doing the work. Lucia is the one who is protecting something. A verb is a doing word because it refers to the action or work being done. In this case, protects is the verb. An object is the thing or person to which the work or action is being done to. In this case, the environment is the one receiving the action. Very important. In the active voice, the subject of the sentence does the action, meaning the subject comes first, then the verb, and then the object. In the passive voice, the object becomes the subject and is having the action done to it, meaning the object comes first, then the verb, and then the subject. For example, active voice. Lucia protects the environment. Lucia is the subject, protect is the verb, and the environment the object. Now in the passive voice, the environment is protected by Lucia. The environment is the subject, is protected verb by Lucia object. Remember, when writing sentences in the passive voice, you must keep the sentence in the same tense. Keep the meaning of the sentence the same. Start with the object. Personal pronouns in the object of the active sentence are changed into their subject form when the sentence is rewritten in the passive voice. For example, I teach her. She is taught by me. He or they completed the entry form. The entry form is completed by him or them. So take note, personal pronouns, subject form and then the object form. I becomes me. You remains you. He becomes him in singular form. She becomes her. It remains it. Now plural form. We become us. You remain you. And they become them. In some passive sentences, the agent, the doer, is not mentioned. This is the case when it is understood and it would be clumsy to mention the doer. This is especially true if the agent is a pronoun. Here are examples. We keep our coffee cups here. Our coffee cups are kept here by us. They will take a decision soon. A decision will be taken soon by them. Commands. Read the book by Tuesday. The book must be read by Tuesday. Questions. Who wrote the article? By whom was the article written? Here's an exercise. Change the following two sentences into the passive voice. They did not do their mathematics homework. And then the last sentence, Maria is washing dishes. Here are some examples of active and passive sentences in some of the tenses we have learned so far. Pay attention to how the verbs are written in the passive voice so that these sentences can stay in the same tense. Simple past tense, active voice. Nelson ate an apple. Passive voice, an apple was eaten by Nelson. Right? Simple present tense, active voice. Nelson eats an apple. Passive voice, an apple is eaten by Nelson. Next, simple future tense, active voice. Nelson will eat an apple. In passive voice, an apple will be eaten by Nelson. We move on. Past continuous tense, active voice. Nelson was eating an apple, and then the passive voice, an apple was being eaten by Nelson. Next, present continuous tense, active voice. Nelson is eating an apple. An apple is being eaten by Nelson, passive voice. Next, we have future continuous tense, active voice. Nelson will be eating an apple. Passive voice. An apple will be eaten by Nelson. Past perfect tense. The active voice. Nelson had eaten an apple. And the passive voice. An apple had been eaten by Nelson. We move to the present perfect tense. Active voice. Nelson has eaten an apple. And the passive voice. An apple has been eaten by Nelson. Then lastly, future present tense. Nelson will have eaten an apple. Passive voice. An apple will have been eaten by Nelson. Let us now recap. In today's lesson, we have learned that the active voice describes a sentence where the subject performs the action stated by the verb. It follows a clear subject plus verb plus object construct that's easy to read. With passive voice, the subject is acted upon by the verb. This means that when a sentence is changed from passive to active voice and vice versa, the subject, verb and object should change places. Always take note to keep the tense of the sentence the same. Always take note that a sentence may only be used in the passive voice if it contains a transitive verb, a verb that takes a direct object. For example, the magician performs the trick. Trick is a transitive verb as it is the one receiving the action, direct object. Please, viewers, familiarize yourself with the tenses in order for you to do well in this topic. Until next time, ciao ciao.